We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then raise your hand and I will call on you.
Well, first of all, like always, I appreciate you guys coming out and covering Penn State football. Got to give Purdue a bunch of credit. I think they're good on offense. Obviously, the quarterback is really good, super accurate, processes quickly, and they do a great scheme of getting the ball out of his hands very, very quickly. Defensively, I thought they did a really good job. They were stemming to an odd front, a little bit more than what we anticipated, but that's going to happen in the first games. Offensively, we were kind of either 3 and out and punt or drives for touchdowns. We got to be more consistent. We got to make more plays. We dropped some big time balls on offense, not only for Sean, but when Drew went in there, had a chance to make some plays for him. And then really on the same side on defense, we had a chance for some interceptions and some big plays. It was awesome to see Barney and Moore come in and punt really well after waiting his time to take the job, and I'm super proud of him and happy. But this is a character win for our program. It was a tough win. Be able to win it in a 2-minute drive at the end. We've had a few of these over the years. We worked it a ton during training camp. We worked it this week, something we do every week. And obviously with Sean's experience and confidence, we were able to make some plays and get it going. So give Purdue a ton of credit, but there's a bunch of stuff we got to get corrected tomorrow. We will have meetings and practice tomorrow. But obviously it's much better to learn these lessons and grow with a win, a tough win on the road, 12 out of the last 13 years.
Raise your hand, Richard.
James, what happened to Sean that he had to leave the field? And secondly, did you consider replacing him after the interception because we saw Drew warming up?
Yeah, so he cramped up, had to go in and get an IV, then came back, and then started to cramp up again. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to go, so we got Drew going again, and then he was able to obviously get in there and play. I thought Drew did some nice things when he was in. Hopefully we get him some time next week as well. But at the end of the day, I thought that experience there, especially that last drive, really mattered and helped us.
Sorry, Mark.
James, you seemed committed to playing a lot of guys on defense deep into the game. Was that to keep those guys fresh on a hot night, or kind of what was the thinking there?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. We had a plan to rotate. I am determined to develop depth. Last year, obviously, we weren't able to do that. It cost us. So we are going to develop depth by playing guys. If you think we played a lot of guys this week, we plan on doing it again next week. And hopefully that will help us in fourth quarters like tonight. And hopefully that will help us later in the season in keeping guys healthy.
You call this a character win. How much is this a character showing for Sean as well, coming back with the pick six and leading down the field for them?
Yeah, I mean, Sean is, in my opinion, everybody's got different lenses, but in my opinion, Sean's shown character over his entire career. So I'm really happy for him. But yeah, the pick six, obviously you never want turnovers. And then turnovers for touchdowns are significant. But yeah, we battled back. I thought the sideline was great with him. I thought Coach Yosich was great with him, which that's really important too. The guy knows he made a mistake. You don't need, come to the sideline and get your head ripped off. So I was proud with how really the whole organization handled it. And he'll grow from this as well, even though he's a 38-year-old, eight-year senior.
We'll go Daniel, and then we'll go John McGonigal.
James, 30 seconds left in the first half. You guys decided to push the ball instead of taking it in for halftime and get the touchdown. What went into making that decision to be aggressive there and that play to Brent? What did you see on that?
Yeah, we had 3 timeouts. There's 30 seconds to go, so we felt like, hey, let's start on first and second down, see if we can get something going, and if we can, keep going. The 3 timeouts played a major factor in that. I was really proud of our players and our staff, really at the end of the half and the end of the game. we were able to have all of our timeouts, which a lot of times early in the season you have to burn timeouts for silly things. So I thought that was big. The turnover at the end of the half by Zach Key was big because that could have factored in with the middle 8, which we all know is an important stat in football. They could have got a score at the end of the first half, and then I think they opened the second half with a score. So that was a big part of the game. There's no doubt about it. But we had 3 timeouts in 30 seconds, which, to be honest with you, in college football, with as many ways there is to stop the clock, we want to be aggressive in those situations.
John, then Audrey.
James, Chop had a big pressure at the end of the game with Pastor, so it seemed like he was getting home as much earlier in the game. How would you assess the whole pass?
Well, what I would say is if you really study Purdue and look at how quickly they get the ball out of his hand, even when he got pressure, he's throwing the ball to, I think a lot of times, to maybe encourage a pass interference penalty. But he gets the ball out quickly. There's very few people that get a ton of sacks against these guys. They do a really good job with it, but we were able to get sacks when it mattered most, and then obviously we got to build off it.
Audrey, then Adam.
James, you're right. You guys had all 4 running backs involved by the first play of the second quarter. Are you committed to kind of keeping that rotation going, or do you want one guy to maybe see more carries than another?
Yeah, it's kind of like I've said in the past. I think we'll probably go in the next game based on how this game went with a very similar philosophy, and then if somebody takes over and gets real hot, then we'll adjust as we go. But right now, we got to watch the tape and talk about it as a staff. But right now, if I had to guess, we'd probably be in the same similar rotation next week.
Adam, then Neil.
James, Sean hasn't really hidden his confidence. He's shown that outwardly. How does that show up in a game like this when it's not perfect, but obviously you have a chance at the end and you come through?
I'm sorry, say the beginning part again.
Sean has shown his confidence and expressed that. I'm wondering how that shows up in a game situation after things aren't going well and then you still have a chance at the end.
Yeah, I think it was that, and I think it's obviously just a ton of experience. The guy's kind of had a roller coaster career. He's had unbelievable games and won 11 games, and we all as a program have had some adversity as well. So, I'm proud of him. The experience counts, and the experience matters. And obviously it showed there at the end of the game. He made some big plays. He showed some toughness. Took a couple shots. I think they had a personal foul penalty against him, and then obviously had to go in for an ID. So showed a bunch of character, showed a bunch of toughness, and obviously it takes a ton of confidence to bounce back from a pick 6 and lead your team to a game-winning drive. So I'm proud of him.
Neil, then John.
James, to clarify, he wasn't injured on the play with a personal foul. And also, can you comment on the targeting where you lost the guy?
Yeah, so the targeting, it's one of those that we've talked about before. There's targetings where guys lead with the head, and then there's targetings where the ball carrier is to a point that there's no way to keep your head up. If you're going to match pad level with pad level, that's going to happen. So I don't think there was any malicious intent there. He was just trying to stop the ball carrier. And I think if all of you, if you go home in your living rooms or you walk out of here and at some point you drop down, it's impossible to keep your head up. And that's what happened on that play. So he'll learn from it. We'll coach off of it. There's not a whole lot he can really do in that circumstance.
John, and then we'll go.
James, was the decision to take Kate Wallace out performance-based, and how would you evaluate your offensive line's play tonight?
No, we were planning on rotating Effner in anyway. Obviously, Caden's got some things he's got to work on. We weren't able to get any explosive runs, which is something that we're committed to doing. I think overall, I think the line battled, but too many pressures, too many sacks, too many runs where the running back didn't have a situation to really get going and be open in space or be able to make a safety miss. So we gotta keep chipping away at that.
Last question.
Hey James, kind of going off of Audrey's question, do you think the decision to go drive by drive with running backs kind of prevents them to get hot, because after a drive they just go and sit on the bench for a couple drives?
This is one of those questions that I have a hard time answering. If we thought that that would prevent it, probably would do it, right? Yeah, it's kind of a tough question. I don't think I finished answering your question, to be honest with you. You asked about Sean, and it was cramping. He went in and got an IV. That's what it was.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome.
Can we make a path